Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard. If you are brand new here, welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that fits for you. Today I want to do a pick a card reading. I just want to do the next 10 days. So here's the deal. This is timeless. So when it finds you, it finds you. Yeah, just looking for messages or some direction or some insight into the next 10 days for you. We have 3 decks, right? So deck number 1 with the gold key. Deck number 2, this is a little bluebird. So sweet. Deck number 3, a rose quartz angel. You can probably see her better down here. So take a second, right? This is that place where your intuition becomes part of the magic of this reading. So whichever one speaks to you, right? The pile is going to choose you. So just get quiet and see which one speaks to you the loudest. Remembering that it could be more than one pile. It could be 1 or 2 or all of them. So just remember that this is a general reading. Pick up what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. You can find your reading in the timestamps below. So just take a second and I'll see you in your reading. All right, pile number 1. So you have chosen the Baroque Tarot and this golden key, right? So beautiful. So let's see what we can find out for you in terms of messaging. I am going to pull a couple of oracle cards first just to get a little bit of, let's call it behind the scenes, right? A little bit of extra information, a little bit of insight. And again, we're looking at the next 10 days, but that's just a target, right? It could be a longer cycle or a shorter cycle for you. It doesn't really matter. You know, the universe knows what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you require here. And your higher self absolutely understands the reason that you're here. So we're just going to trust that messaging as well. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So this is the Ciro Marchetti Oracle of Visions deck. These cards are absolutely beautiful. This is the card of belonging and acceptance and assimilation. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but the key here is about how you claim yourself, right? How you claim your avatar, and that kind of allows others to claim you as well, right? It goes kind of in line with that. We can only meet others as deeply as we meet ourselves. So there could be some identity work for you coming up here, some story work coming up. Oh yeah, so nice. So you have intuition, the third eye chakra, right? So that is about messaging. That's about this is about how you're willing to claim yourself, right? Or how you need to put a false front out, or the ways that you feel as though your intuition is bound, or perhaps you're not recognizing your intuition, or you're not claiming your intuition on some levels, or you have come to believe that, oh looky there, that your intuition perhaps isn't to be trusted, right? Whatever that messaging is. So let's pull tarot as well. Wow, okay, pile number 1, you start off with the World and the Tower, the 3 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles. So something, hello, is moving for you. Definitely a sense of shift, change, or motion, moving out of a cycle into a new cycle. Wow, 2 3s. There's a lot of facilitation around you, a lot of assistance. Ooh, yeah. Pile number 1. Queen of Swords, some realizations. Amazing, right? And let's get our last 2. You have the Moon and the Sun. Wow. Okay, so pile number 1. Wow. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about our beautiful assimilation lady, right? So as she relates to intuition, we want to talk about that. This is that sense of belonging and acceptance. And again, we're talking about the way that you can accept yourself, right? And so this is about claiming your place. This is about claiming your presence, your right to be, right? And when we're talking about the third eye chakra, we're talking about how we recognize our truth, how we recognize where we are, who we are, what we are, and claim that as worthy, right? So your third eye is the way that you process that messaging. And remember that the messaging that we receive in our lives really shapes and dictates our behaviors. And that's something that we can control for ourselves. So how are you creating your vision of self, right? And is it in alignment with what you witness from the world, or is it in alignment with what you've been taught and told? And so since you chose the key, right, I want to talk about a card that's not here but is represented, which is the Hierophant, right? And the Hierophant is all about higher messaging, but it's higher messaging filtered through lenses, many lenses of tradition and teaching and those things that we're taught, but then perhaps actually never choose to examine for ourselves, right? So let's move through these tarot cards too. So we have the World and the Tower right next to one another. So the World is about our cycles and how we move through a lesson, right? And then step into the next lesson. And so whatever it is you're pulling in here, right, what you're stepping into is a destruction, right? The Tower is destruction. And here's the thing. When we look at the Tower, we talk about this bolt of lightning blowing off the crown, right? Which of course is shifting and changing your beliefs in a sudden or unexpected way. And the thing is, when this happens, it inspires the inner shift that is the catalyst for a shift of everything, right? So not only do we have the Tower, but we also have the Queen of Swords, right? And the Queen of Swords gets a bad rap. The Queen of Swords, you know, traditional interpretations in tarot like to call her cold or unfeeling. I would actually say, based on the rest of these cards, she's the voice of reason here. And by that I mean, you know, I like to say the Queen of Swords, she just takes no bullshit, right? She harbors no nonsense. And so she and her sword of truth are the way that we allow our intuition to be in action, right? And so it's great to have intuition, but if you're not willing to put it into action, then you're bound by whatever tradition has you stuck, right? So not only do we have the World followed by the Tower, right? And so we have the Ace of Pentacles sitting underneath here, asking you, are you going to take this opportunity, right? We know that aces are gifts from the universe, and we're not only required to accept them, but we have to put them into action. And you've got plenty of action to be found here, right? You have two knights over here, the knight of your heart and the knight of your journey, allowing you to move forward. So that Ace of Pentacles has no problem being in play. Here's the thing. You also have the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. These are collaborative cards. This is energy of community, of togetherness, right? This is where are you allowing yourself to be recognized as well, right? It's one thing to accept your gift, your intuition. It's another thing to keep that under wraps, right? It's another thing to create it or sustain it as the mysterious, or as a mystery, or just as that thing which we do over and over without contemplation, right? Are you celebrating it, or are you simply just allowing it to be an action, right? The action of those 3 cards is to allow 1 and 1 to really make that third thing, instead of just creating a dichotomy, right? And so when we put the number 3 into action, we're really in creation of 2 whole things that then move together to be that third thing. Sometimes that can feel mysterious, but it also harkens right back to this intuition. It creates from the mystery itself this next level thing that becomes, right, something beautiful and shining in our periphery, in our experience. And so whatever's being offered to you in the next 10 days is going to be significant in that it's going to allow you to, let's call it, deepen, right, your expression and your experience of whatever your intuition is. It's going to allow you to heed those calls to motion, right, in that collaborative way, really, and coming to this place where you know that you don't need to entertain any nonsense, right? It's about pulling off those veils, right? Really pulling off any disguising or any rejection of your own full expression, right? So the Sun is the last card here. And so, the Knight of Pentacles is really about committing to your journey. It's about committing to the process, the progress, the destination, and understanding that all of those are found every step of the way, right? And so the Sun is illuminating that answer for you, that creation. And here's the thing, we start with the world and we end with the Sun. So everything in between here is not only the right path, because there are 8 billion right paths. You can never make a wrong decision, right? You can just make a decision that has consequences you didn't prefer. But this is inevitable, right? This is an inevitability, right? We can't be in awareness of our intuition and keep it cloaked at the same time, because intuition is a service, right? It's a service. It's an action of service, not only to you, but to those around you. And the more willing you are to, let's call it, I don't like the word wield, but to utilize your sword of truth in service, not only to yourself, but to those around you, because that 3 implies a reciprocity. Right? It implies that there's benefit on both sides. It's learning, it's teaching, it's giving, it's receiving, it's celebrating, and it's also being present no matter what, right? And so the way that you create your journey as it responds to the calls of your heart, right? These are such lovely pairings, right? So here's my take on this for you. Whatever's coming in for you in the next 10 days, pile number 1, your key is to always be in touch with your third eye, with your inner guidance, right? Things come in and they are your catalyst. They allow you to move through, and they invite you to move forward to. And here's the thing, it's not about the moving, it's about the leaning in to that experience as the yes, right? This is a celebration. This is a reciprocal experience that allows you to be in balance on every level. You have the Moon and the Sun, right? Those are balances on every level. So I just love whatever it is that's going on here for you. What I'd like to do is pull a card on this Ace of Pentacles, just to see if we can get a little more clarity. Whoa, well, okay then. Okie dokie. So your clarifier for the Ace of Pentacles is the Ace of Cups. Now, we have a Knight of Pentacles and a Knight of Cups, and an Ace of Pentacles and an Ace of Cups. So, and in fact, you have a Three of Pentacles and a Three of Cups. Wow. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about this. Pentacles is water, or Pentacles is earth energy. Cups is water energy. So what we're talking about are fundamental shifts, right? The place where water meets earth is the creation of all things 3D, right? This is the expression of your life, of your foundations. And so whatever you've been disguising within yourself, whatever you've been rejecting or covering over, pile number one, whatever your intuition keeps, telling you by whatever means necessary, that you need to pay attention to, that you need to examine in your life and your experience and your expression. It's time to do that. You have the World and the Tower here in the beginning, which is shift and change, right? Necessary shift and change, inevitable shift and change. Shift and change that takes you into the next level, the next dimension of your experience, whatever that is, right? This is ascending to take the step up, right? Or forward. And like I said, it's not about the motion there. It's about the leaning in. So whatever that means, however you're going to expand into these relationships, this part of creating something with, right? Creating that 1 + 1 makes 3 equation, and recognizing that space between as its own experience, right? Its own offering of stability and solidity and a fundamental foundation, but also this thing that's going to create such contentment and bliss and happiness for you, right? As you create something with it. Here's the deal. Whatever the bullshit has been that's keeping you out of it, whatever the story is that you've been telling yourself, the reasons that are really excuses that you've been not willing or not ready to claim that next level, whatever it's been that's been keeping you in shadow or confusion or veiled, right, or held back, guess what? The next 10 days is going to be a giant shift for you. Here's my best advice. Make your choice, right? Make your choice here, because with the Tower, we are always running the risk of external facilitation of a shift that we're unwilling to make ourselves, right? The world says this is about to move, right? Whatever's moving in your world is about to move forward. You're going to the next level, right? You really, you could resist that, but the consequences would be so painful and dire that it's probably not recommended. So whatever's coming requires your utilization of your own personal sort of truth. So your action is to self-examine. Your action is to use your sword as the key, right? Your sword, remembering that we always have those two sides. And if we're not using the leading edge of that sword, it's going to come back on us. So whatever the idea is, whatever the belief or thing it is that you're being asked or urged or required to examine, I think you're being invited to do that at some point within the next 10 days. So do not hesitate when that presents, right? Aces come around for a reason. I also would like to say you have two majors beginning and ending, and 2 aces square in the middle of this reading. So please, pile number 1, those of you who chose the golden key, I wish you nothing but the best, because this is lovely, right? You have such potential to create such deep foundations for your next leveling up. Yeah, this is going to be a monumental kind of shift and change for you. So best of luck to you. Follow your intuition, right? Follow your heart. Follow what you know to be true, and understand that your progress will be effortless as long as you're examining where it is that you want to go in relation to what you're creating, that next thing that you're creating, right? You, the idea, and whatever it is, or you and whatever that thing you're going to engage with and create that next level with. But it's coming. It's coming. But here's the thing. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. So here's the deal. Pile number 1. Golden key, folks. Please hit subscribe so you can come back and tell me how this goes. And I wish you nothing but the best. This is lovely as long as you're following your heart, right? So walk your progress, walk your path, walk your heart all the way into the brightest. So big blessings. Thanks for being here again. Pick up what resonates. Leave behind what doesn't. If we're done here, please take care. And if not, I will see you in your next reading. Big blessings. Hey, pile number 2. Those of you who have chosen this very, very sweet little bluebird. He's so good. All right, so I am going to pull a couple of oracle cards for you, but first, welcome. We're looking today at your next 10 days approximately, right? This is a timeless reading, so whatever your timeline is looking for or looking at or claiming is absolutely always up to you. So let's get started, shall we? Number 27. How wonderful. So this is about attraction and magnetism and infatuation, right? So this is the lure of the 3D, right? Yeah, we've got moths and flames, we've got a Venus flytrap, we have a bird and a flower. So this is divine feminine energy. And here's what I would like to say about divine feminine energy, right? We talk about feminine and masculine energy like they exist in vacuums, and that we can pull from the external. Come on. See, that's funny. You have feminine and masculine energy. Interesting that we get this listed as conflict. Okay, so here's what I wanted to finish saying. So we talk about feminine and masculine energy as though they could exist in a vacuum, and the answer to that, the important assertion there is that they can't. Right? When we talk about divine feminine or divine masculine energy, if we're talking about them as existing separate from one another instead of always part of a fluid spectrum, if we take out the fact that masculine and feminine energy can only exist in balance within first, or we're always going to have a conflict externally, then we are forgetting something very important, which is that it's always about the spectrum. There's nothing that we can look for or choose to find outside of us unless we first found it within. So if we're always seeking a balance out in the world, we're always going to be, I don't really enjoy the words at war with, but I will say in conflict with our own balance internally. So, so pile number 2, bluebird of happiness, folks. Yeah, I see your conflict here. Okay. Dun dun. Okay. Well, so let's talk here what we have. So you've got the Ace of Swords, the 6 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Pentacles, the 5 of Cups, the 2 of Pentacles, the Tower, the Page of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, 10 of Swords. So this is a lot of Pentacles. Pile number 2, a lot. So, all right. So if we're talking about this conflict, right, this general quest for balance, right, of masculine and feminine energy, right, the way that we want to address that is always going to be, again, how are we finding that or not finding that within ourselves, right? So this can be about a person, it can be about you, or it can be about a circumstance or a situation, right? Because we find that feminine and masculine balance everywhere, right? If we talk about the energetic descriptions of energy balance, right? We're talking about things like warm and cold and yin and yang, right? The way that we expand and contract, the way that we move into the world and through it, or the way that we choose to avoid it, right? And so the thing is, what we're attracted to is simply a thing that we either believe that we require or a thing that we need to experience, right? And so interestingly here, we've got this Mars energy, right? And Mars energy, I'm really interested that they call this conflict energy, the energy of conflict. And here's why. Because Mars traditional expression is, the god of war, right? But his balance is mediation and compromise, right? And so we in our, let's call it Western society, have created this idea that there's capitulation and then there's fighting. We've lost our ability to find middle ground, to find the balance, right? To find that place within you that is simply moving on the spectrum of. So let's park that here and then move through these cards, right? So what stands out loudly in the very beginning? Actually, a lot of things do, but what I was drawn to first are these 2 5s. And so these 2 5s perhaps, so we have the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Wands. 5 of Cups is always about regret, right? It's about regret, the places where we did not lean in when we were invited or when we had the opportunity, what we perceive to be a loss, right? And this is Cups. So this is near and dear to our heart, which is traditionally a feminine energy. But here's the deal. It's also a masculine energy, right? That fierce, protective, loving energy that is bound into the masculine, right? This 5 of Cups is an expression of both of these, right? It can be pining, it can be longing, it can be regretful on both sides, because let's face it, the cup of your heart is the cup of your heart. And if you're going to look back, if you're going to be stuck in the past instead of claiming in the present, you're creating a situation where you're not present in your experience, right? Again, we're rejecting that point of presence on the spectrum, on any given spectrum, right? So we have also the 5 of Wands, right? And this is a conflict. The 5 of Wands, if you notice, each one of these little bunnies, come on, they're so cute, Each one of these little bunnies is holding on to his wand, his idea, his inspiration, his passion. Now, they're not engaged in active conflict. This is a card of posturing, right? This is a card of holding on to your idea because you're unwilling to let it go, right? These are both cards of holding on to an idea because you're unwilling to let it go. Whether that makes you sad and allows you to experience things like loss or regret or sadness, or whether this allows you to experience something more active like anger or the willingness to battle, or just that refusal, that stubbornness to put down whatever it is in order to see past it, past this point of being blocked because of an idea, right? It's refusing to find the middle ground. And the middle ground is always, here I am present, you are present. Where are we together, right? So that's number one. Number two, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, one underneath the other. The Three of Pentacles, I also do want to just kind of say there's a lot of opportunity to hear some of the messaging in pile number one. If you're so disposed to do that, there's a couple of repeats here that may bring you some more insight if you want to go listen to that. If not, that's fine. So the Three of Pentacles is this collaborative effort, right? This is how we learn and teach. This is how we create something with another, with others, right? How we create within community. And then the Eight of Pentacles is how we really hone our craft. This is where we dedicate ourselves to our piece of this puzzle. And so this is always done in the present, right? Eight of Pentacles is skill and mastery through repetition, through dedication and devotion to your piece of the puzzle, right? It's how you choose to structure your life. It's how you choose to structure your existence, right? This is what I do. This is what I bring to the table. And so I'm going to be sure that what I bring to the table is the very best it can be. And again, this requires your presence, right? Your presence. We've also got the Six of Pentacles here, and that's a beautiful between for this, because the Six of Pentacles is the minor card of justice. It's the balance, right? So this is the balance of me and we, right? This is the place where I have plenty, I will give to you because I know it will come back to me. So we're talking about that reciprocal cycle. And this is so beautiful because this represents that spectrum, right? Traditionally, the Two of Pentacles is about juggling and multitasking and really kind of being in the flow of what it is that you're doing, which is lovely. But I'm going to give you a different interpretation of this one today because this is how it's speaking to me, right? I often use the infinity symbol as the tool to illustrate what I'm talking about when I talk about any spectrum, right? So if we're talking about masculine and feminine energies as a full spectrum, here we go. We're always in flow. The place where you are is always right here in the center, right? The place where they overlap. And the thing is, if we judge the rest of the spectrum, we're completely taking away from our experience of it in the center. So whether we're talking about masculine and feminine energies, or the me and we energies, or the being in loss, or being in presence, right? Or being in conflict or peace, any of those things, we can describe those in that spectrum and always locate ourselves here. The thing is, the rest of the spectrum is equally valid, always and 100%. There are 8 billion people on this planet. Do you think they can all fit in the center dot? They can't. But they can fit on the rest of the spectrum, right? Which is why our judgment of the rest of that spectrum is a little bit, let's call it, conflicting, right? It's a little bit dismissive of the rest of the experiences of those 7.9999999 billion other people. So how do we manage that? Well, guess what? You're going to get some help here. You're going to get a lot of help, actually. So this is where our swords come in. And swords here are about the idea, right? The idea, the belief, the thought structure, the way that you express that thought structure, the way that you want to claim it as your truth. Now, here's the thing. When we claim too much of our truth, we get stuck in this Ten of Swords energy, which is absolutely, let's just call it, look how sad that bunny is, right? He's been pierced by all of his ideas. He couldn't sustain them because it was just too much. And so the call here is to allow the concept of your new ideas to come in, right? So pay attention, right? Whatever this messaging is that's going to come in for you, it's going to relieve you of this feeling of being so overburdened by your beliefs that you can't be in your experience. The Tower here, again, is a repeat from pile number 1, but this is the way that your ideas, right, the lightning bolt of your ideas, blow off your crown, blow your mind, so to speak, and really recreate or create a situation where you get to choose. Again, you have the Ace of Swords, the Page of Swords, both of these delivering ideas or beliefs or concepts that allow you to shift and change your ideas from that of being conflicted or being stuck wherever you believe yourself to be stuck, right? And those feelings that are associated with that sense of being stuck, or those feelings associated with I don't want to be stuck, right? So I'm gonna be in conflict here. Whatever it is that's coming in for you, you get to witness yourself as a mobile piece of your own spectrum, and you also get to witness everyone else as the mobile piece of their own spectrum, knowing that all you can do, pile number 2, little bluebird of happiness people, is keep choosing your own devotion, your mastery, your dedication to your craft, not worrying yourself with anyone else's, right? Understanding that as you receive, so do you have the power to give. And as you give, so do you open your capacity to receive, right? So you simply keep moving on your spectrum of experience instead of feeling like you're stuck. You're stuck by your ideas, by your beliefs, by these things that have you conceptually frozen, right? In fact, there is no conflict, right, that isn't fully within your control to shift and change. This is about doing the work. And guess what? The conflict in your external is always and only due to the conflict within your heart. And so as you resolve those things, right, these disappear and allow you to shift into this new energy of devotion to self, while we're also releasing whatever it is that we're stuck in. Let's grab one clarifier. I'm going to grab a clarifier. Let's grab it on the Tower. I was debating whether we wanted that clarifier on the Ten of Swords or on the Tower. I think the Tower is better because it will give us a little bit more insight into the bigger picture, right? Not just the narrow frame. We'll get there. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever this is for you, pile number 2. Oh, look at that. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have got strength, of course. Okay. Do you see? Do you see it right here? Right? So this is confirmation of our interpretation. This is confirmation of our representation. And so here's the deal. When I talk about the strength card, I talk about strength as the way that we are able to do our inner work. Every demon that we come up against and face is simply an expression of ourselves. Sometimes we're comfortable with those, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we welcome them, and sometimes we don't, right? Sometimes we integrate them, and sometimes we just don't know how. And sometimes we require facilitation in order to do that. But the thing about this card right here on the Tower is telling you that you already have your answer, right? Your answer is to place yourself in that, into that place of doing the work, right? Of fearlessly pulling out each one of these swords and looking at it as an opportunity. Are you going to hold on to it? Are you going to let it be a thing that you choose as a weapon to be used against you, or something to increase your sadness or to pull you backwards? Or are you going to lean in to those swords that are offered, right, and use them to to find perhaps a new perspective within the spectrum of belief structure or belief system that you're looking to heal here? Because it is going to come up and it's going to offer you an opportunity. So your message, pile number 2, the bluebird pile, remember, is that it's always a choice. Right? It's always a choice. Your location on the spectrum is your location on the spectrum, but how you deal with that, how you feel about it, how you create from it, how you move forward as that place on the spectrum is always 100% an inside job, right? So whatever it is that has you down, whatever it is that has you pierced, you're going to come against some well, how about this? You're going to have the invitation to move toward your own healing. And it's going to be big, right? It's going to perhaps shift everything. It definitely will allow you to deepen your own experience and expression in a way that will make you more productive, that will make you more part of the whole, whether or not that means simply for you or with an actual community aspect. That's completely up to you, right? But just managing your location, right, in the 5D, right? Not necessarily in the 3D, but in that multi-level game of life that we kind of think about, well, that I kind of think about as multi-dimensional chess, right? Where we're everywhere and nowhere all at once. So you have the opportunity to do this work. The key here is you have to do it both internally and externally, right? You have to do it within and allow it to radiate without, knowing that the way that that happens is always going to be perfect. So that's a lot. Pile number 2, whatever this revelation comes in, it is really going to allow you to move toward that place of choosing balance, choosing harmony, right? Choosing your own self-justice, claiming your own self-truth, which is so powerful and beautiful, as that presence, right? Presence. Beautiful. You are all of those expressions all at once. Pile number 2. So please hit the subscribe button. Come back and let me know how this goes. And remember, this is a general reading, so pick up what feels great and leave behind what doesn't feel resonant for you. And if this is where we part ways, please, again, come back and let me know how this goes. And if not, I will see you in your next reading, right? Big blessings. Hey, pile number 3, those of you who chose the beautiful Rebellion Tarot and this lovely little quartz angel. Let's see what your cards have to say. I am going to pull a couple of oracle cards just to get a wider sort of insight. I do want to remind you that, of course, this is a general reading, so just pick up what feels right to you. Feel free to leave behind what does not. We can't always speak to everyone, but hopefully you will find some messages here just for you. And again, we're talking about, lovely, what will be relevant to you for your next 10 days. Okay, so you have card number 49 here. This is the card of assistance and help and support. So that's quite lovely, honestly. So this is about how we create balance in our experience without reliance, right? It comes into that being taught to fish instead of being gifted a fish, right? So yeah, paying attention to that. Quite lovely. Quite lovely. The archway is always about gateways to that next level, right? So perhaps there's some assistance being offered to you. Let's keep going and see what what other messages. Whoa, you have. Okay, well, look at that. Okie dokie. So, all right, Uranus, major life change. So here's the thing. Pile number 3, that of the angel, right? So if we're talking about assistance, major life changes and angels, so we really want to think about trusting the process of your life, trusting what is coming in, and recognizing that when it's required, you'll always be offered assistance, right? Whoa, hey, okie dokie then. Thank you. So you've got the Emperor, the 3 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords. Well, isn't that interesting? It's quite a start. The Queen of Pentacles. The 9 of Wands. The 4 of Cups. What you got going on here, pile number 3? What you been brewing, right? The Wheel. Oh boy. The Tower. Okay, all 3 piles today had the Tower. So if you feel, wow, and Strength. So if you feel compelled, you can listen to any or all of these piles today. There's definitely a deep theme of shift running through them. Something very Uranian, something very, let's call it seismic, right? Tectonic, the way that we shift from the foundation forward. Interesting. So the bonus here is that you definitely have assistance. So let's talk about your tarot cards, right? So any place in your life that you've been complacent or that you've been reliant on an old story that is about what hurt you or why you can't move forward, or how you've been betrayed, right? Any of that story that's been keeping you in this place of wanting revenge or wanting just immobility, right? I just can't. Here's what's about to happen. Something is coming in for you. Every single pile today had the Tower, and the Tower is that place of inevitable, externally created shift or change. Major life change, right? Major life change. The Wheel is the way that we witness our ups and our downs, right? So a thing that I often use as a descriptor with clients is, we say we want an even keel life, but that's not life, right? Life is like a roller coaster or a wheel, right? We're always moving up and down and up and down. We have great times, we have terrible times, we have good days, we have bad days. And if you are convinced that you're riding those changes on the edge of that wheel, then you're always going to be seasick and you're always going to feel uprooted, right? You're always going to feel stuck and like that you've been betrayed and that you've been jolted and jarred and that things external to you are creating your circumstances, right? If you witness yourself as being on the edge of the wheel, but if you contract your focus and really witness that, in fact, you're the hub of the wheel, and all of those things may be happening around you, but your perspective, your relation to them is where your power is, right? Queen of Pentacles, always grounded, always stable in and of herself. That's her strength, that she knows that all of that motion is the experience, that she knows that all of that motion is simply the way that we choose to either defend our positions or defend the circumstances that really have nothing to do with the experience in and of itself, right? So again, you have help. You have plenty of help here. Absolutely divine help, right? You've got several, well, you've got almost half of your cards today are majors. So this indicates a major life shift, a major opportunity for you if you can cut through your ideas, right? Swords are always about ideas. They're the things that we've witnessed or heard or been told that we bring to the table with us. And so our opportunity when we're confronted with a plethora of ideas is, are we really in our experience, right? What better queen here than the Queen of Pentacles, who is the queen of the earth energy, the sensual experience, instead of the ideas, right? And what happens here when we have all of these ideas? We get this Four of Cups energy, which is, this is boredom, this is withdrawal, this is refusing to engage in life, right? This is no thank you. I mean, look at him. He's literally like, nope, no thanks. I'm not going to do that. I just can't. You know, it's that whole I can't even, right? He's the I can't even guy. You know, the Emperor kind of, to me, is that same energy. I have everything and nothing all at the same time. I've got everything, but I don't want anything because my brain is telling me that's not how this works. I've been defending myself, my circumstance, my situation, my choices for so long. I've been explaining why I simply can't move forward. I just can't do it. I have so much pain, so much hurt, and I don't know how to offload it. I've been betrayed so many times, and I'm just on this wall here. I'm just going to stand in front of it, and I'm going to keep telling you why I can't, why I can't, why I can't, why I can't. But here's the deal. Not only can you, but you're about to learn that you don't have a different option anymore, right? The wheel is going to move, right? And what that means is your fate is going to pull you forward. How you stand in relation to that absolutely gives you the opportunity to claim what happens as a result. When I have clients who have either big Uranus transits coming up or are experiencing some kind of big life shift or change, I often remind them that your experience of a shift or change has a couple of options, right? You can say, oh my gosh, this feels terrifying and scary. It's unknown and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm having panic attacks, and I'm experiencing so much anxiety as a result of my beliefs about what's happening or what's going to happen, because I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Or you can say, something's coming and I feel it, and things are about to shift and change, and I'm going to step into my strength, right? I'm going to lean into my faith that this is for me. Because guess what? Every shift and change that comes into your experience is for you in some way. And if you're looking at it as the outside of the wheel, it's going to feel like it's rolling over you 100%. But if you can bring your awareness to the fact that you are the hub of the wheel, right? And everything moves around you and it moves for you, then that change can feel exhilarating. You can have a, wow, how amazing is this going to be? Could it be the very, very best thing that happens to me? In fact, it could. It's all about how you choose your perspective, your perception, right? How you claim that shift. Here's the deal. Again, we're talking about having nothing but support. Understanding that the universe is never going to bring you to a place where you are unsupported unless you believe you're unsupported, right? I'd like you to check out your 8s. I'd like you to witness that as a turned on its side infinity symbol, and then I'd like you to go listen to pile number 2. If you're interested in that message, it's fully explained in pile number 2. So if you'd like to understand that a little more deeply, you absolutely may go listen to that. Here's the thing. The 8 of Swords is a belief that you're stuck. You're never actually stuck. You simply believe that you cannot move, and therefore you cannot move. And there's no way that someone can tell you that that's true until or unless you're ready to take action. And that is okay. That's okay. But I'm also here to tell you that sometimes the universe says, oh, my love, you have been stagnant for long enough. It's time, right? Like the mama bird that knows her baby can fly, even if the baby doesn't know it, and helps the little baby out into the air and allows them to discover their wings on the way down, right? Knowing that our wings are there. Sometimes the universe knows better than we do. Let's face it, always. And that's an intuition message from pile number 1. But here's the thing. It's coming, right? You can't get Uranus and the Tower and the Wheel in the same reading and not be in expectation of a life shift. Something coming that's going to change everything. Again, your perspective is going to be your key, right? It's going to absolutely create the circumstance. So I would invite you, pile number 3, to be in touch with your angels and to really find the way to solidify your stance as the hub of that wheel. To witness that the wheel is simply you, right? And it's always been you all along. And so the way that you shift and change your perspective in relation to is going to be everything for you. Again, we can witness change as terrifying and scary and threatening, or we can witness change as welcoming. So again, if you're this person and you're already, I can't even, why on earth would you be scared of change, right? If your circumstance or situation is already that of experiencing loss or betrayal or sadness or feelings of being stuck, why would you witness change as anything but welcome? Simply because it's the unknown, right? So, pile number 3, dive into your angels here. Be in joyful anticipation of whatever may come, and understand that what is coming is, as always, for you, right? Everything is always for you. It's just about how you claim that. That's going to determine the way that you experience it. So, boy, I really want you to hit the subscribe button and come back and let me know how this goes for you. This is going to be amazing. How can you walk your faith? pile number 3 as a beautiful creator of your experience, right? Knowing that any assistance you require is going to be given to you simply by virtue of your being, right? Yeah, what are you going to stand in defense of except for, you know, your current experience or your faith of how good things can be? Boy. Again, take what resonates, leave behind what does not. This is a general reading, but boy, if this one speaks to you, I highly recommend you buckle up and see what comes. How lovely. Thank you for listening and for being here. And yeah, be blessed. Take care.